Good morning and a very warm welcome to the final meeting of the season for the Ultimate Cup Series in 2024. Racing action about to get underway in Le Castellet, starting off with GT Sprint Cup, the first of our 4 25-minute sprint races. But it has not been a very warm welcome from the region for us this morning. Overnight showers that have yet to dissipate, so the circuit very wet, very cold, and very windy as well on our walk up to the commentary box this morning. And so the wet Goodyear tyres almost definitely being prepared for the drivers who are about to head out and venture out for 25 minutes of racing. Cars just on their reconnaissance lap to the grid, but we do have some championships to be determined this weekend. It's unlikely any will be decided in this first race of the weekend, particularly the overall championship, as Francesco Azzori, the championship leader by 29 points to Lyle Schofield. Well, they're both doing races 2 and 4. But of course, we will have to keep an eye out on the Porsche Cup battle, the battle between the two Van der Westen brothers sharing the number 14 2B Autosport car. It is Carl who is taking the wheel for this first race of the weekend. There is second in the championship. And then, of course, the UCS3 battle as well with Frédéric Lacour trying to keep his championship hopes alive in his racing spirit of Le Mans Ferrari 488 Challenge. We also have the battle in UCS4 with championship leader Pierre Aru starting right down towards the rear of the field behind his class rivals. So that is definitely one to keep an eye out on in his Herrera Racing prepared Audi GT4 machine. As you can see, 5-minute board being displayed, but the car on pole position is the guest entered Mercedes C63 AMG, the ex-HWA Lucas Auer DTM car that is being run by the Debard Automobiles by Racetivity outfit for this weekend. So the outfit that fielded Eric Debard and Hugo Chevalier in a ex-Matec Ford GT GT3 car in Manicourt. Their hope was to run the DTM car in Manicourt, but it was deemed to be a bit too loud for the region of Nevers. But no such problems here at Circuit Paul Ricard, and here we can see the absolutely stunning DTM machine in its 2018 specification of aerodynamics. So the car that Lucas Auer drove for 2 years in the German Touring Car Championship and took wins at the Lausitzring, at Hockenheim and the Nürburgring as well. Hugo Chevalier taking the wheel of the car for this first race of the weekend. I'd be hoping things go a little bit smoother than it did in Manicourt, where he had a brake failure in the Matec Ford, and you can see cars are still making their way to the starting grid. But let's head down to Claire Cottingham, who's on the grid with our pole sitter.
I am indeed. We've just been given the 3-minute board, and I've been also told not to touch the car because it's very hot. Hugo, how are you doing? It's a bit wet out there and also a bit windy, but you start from pole position. That's where you want to start, isn't it?
Yes. I don't understand very well because you are very high for me. No, happy to be here with this monster on track. We'll see, the first time for me on the wet track with it. So we'll see what we can do.
Did you call the car a monster? Talk to me about it.
Yeah, that's a Mercedes 6 C3 DTM. So you have the DRS on, you have everything of this. It's like the Formula 1 of the GT. And yeah, as you can see, everything is in carbon, so it's a monster, yes.
You seem to get good cars. Last time you had the impressive Ford out here.
Yes, exactly. Last time was the Ford, and actually this one, so we'll see.
Confident on the wet track?
Confident, not really, because we have no ABS, nothing, and we have 500 horsepower, so confident, not really, but we'll see.
Well, good luck.
Thank you.
I feel like he's just showing off a little bit there, just telling us how much horsepower he's got out there. The wind is starting to drop a little bit. As you can see, my hair's still going a bit crazy, but the wind is dropping, and it's happy to say it's no longer raining down here, but we're going to get chucked off the grid. We're going to go racing. Let's see what this monster can do, Chris.
Yeah, it certainly does seem like it's going to be a bit of a handful for the 24-year-old from Valence, former GT World Challenge Europe driver with the Schumacher CLRT outfit, racing Porsches last year, now racing a variety of different machines, has also been out in GT Endurance with us this year with the 2B Autosport team, but now very much with Debard Automobiles, and also coaching Eric's daughter, Carla Debard, who's also out there in only her second outing in Porsche Cup machinery. She lines up 10th on the grid and racing without traction control and ABS for the first time in that car. So a quick word on the other entries that we have. We have Haas Racing Team represented on the grid as well, sharing the front row with the DTM car, which is effectively pole position because the guest entered DTM car is not eligible for points. And so Xavier Nauf in the Audi R8 on the front row of the grid, also doing the GT Endurance later on with Gregory Savard. See Patrick Barbier there just walking up the grid, the man behind the Racing Spirit of Le Mans outfit. And of course, his man Frederic Lacour hoping for good points in UCS3. Now, where is he actually starting in the number 91? 13th position overall for Frederic Lacour. I would imagine the Ferraris will struggle a little bit in these conditions, given the huge amount of power that they have. It is more than the DTM car. In fact, in its purest specification, more than 650 brake horsepower from the V8 in the challenge version of the Ferrari one-make specification. So a mix of GT3 cars, Porsche Cup cars, Ferrari Challengers. We've got two Lamborghini Super Trofeo out as well. The Ginetta GTX is back as well in the hands of Eric Mues. And it is a safety car start, rather unsurprisingly. And so the clock has started now, no formation lap. Hugo Chevalier waits for the green flag to be displayed to start, and we get the field underway. So it is Hugo Chevalier in the Debard Automobiles by Racetivity prepared DTM car starting on pole position ahead of Xavier Nauf, the Belgian driver for Haas Racing Team. Third on the grid is the Porsche Cup pole sitter, Carl van der Westen, second in the championship for 2B Autosport, sharing that car with his brother Cesar. Then Franck Desertou in the Renault RS01. But it looks like problems for Carla Debard. Very slow away in her Debard Automobiles Porsche Cup car. So hopefully she does get away without too much drama. But I think that means she'll have to line up from the back of the grid if everyone has passed her. So we'll keep an eye out on that. But Franck Desertou, the former World Endurance Championship racer with AF Corsa, lining up in the Renault RS01. Oh, more dramas as well. The 122 Porsche, the Kraft Racing Dominique Guillemot in the 991 version of the Cup car. Now, that car was in a bit of trouble for not respecting the red flag procedure in qualifying as it missed the pit lane entrance. You can see on one of our other cameras that it is slowly moving forward. And we can see it now. It has got going again now, but that will be a back of the grid start. I would have thought was due to start from 21st position. And if everyone could stop having mechanical woes, I can keep going through the grid. UCS3 pole position is Lorenzo Monteiro in the championship leading 353 car that he shares with Lyle Schofield. Sébastien Loeb in his eponymous Porsche Cup car, second in his category. Starts in 6th position. Alexis Berthet on UCS2 pole position, the Lamborghini Super Trofeo. Then Olivier Morahan for JRM Racing, switching over from Corvette machinery to Mercedes for this final meeting of the season. Eric Muet back aboard the Ginetta GTX from CMR. He lines up in 9th position as second of the UCS2 runners. And Carla Debard was due to start from 10th position and third of the Porsche Cup runners, but I imagine with her slightly sluggish getaway off the line will be Lionel Regal in GP Racing Team Porsche that is promoted up a spot. Then UCS4 pole position is Julien Goujat in the number 32 speed car prepared machine. Had a French GT4 wildcard outing at Spa earlier on in the year. did Julien. Frédéric Lacour in the Racing Spirit of Le Mans Ferrari 488 Challenge lines up in 13th, behind his class rival, or ahead of his class rival, I should say, sorry, Patrick Michelier in the CMR prepared Ferrari. Georges Caban in the number 61 CMR Lamborghini, former GT3 racer, in 15th position. And UCS Light pole position is Nathan Posmentier in the number 72 driving Ligier GS2R, former midget racer. Paul Benezek in the 54 Tabard Automobiles Porsche Cup Cars, previous generation 991 machine there. Then comes a couple more of the UCS 4 cars. Adrian Stern in the CMR prepared Ginetta G56 Evo. And then Francois Denis in the speed car prepared Ginetta G55 GT4. Raul Marchisio back in the Ultimate Cup paddock, driving the Ligier GS2R and sharing it with Lorenzo Cioni. Dominique Guillemot was due to start from 21st. That's the car we saw getting slightly sluggish away. Pierre Aru in the championship leading Herrera Racing Audi GT4 car. Cedric Toisson and Henri Lombard, I don't think, have made it out. And joining from a pit lane start was Andrei Safiratos in the Porsche Cayman, and which might be a GT4 car, but as it's a previous specification of Porsche, he actually is classed as a UCS Light machine. So second lap under safety car now underway. So hopefully it won't be too much longer before we get green flag running. I'm sure everyone's very eager to see and hear the HWA DTM car in action. So Hugo Chevalier using the DRS in qualifying. And of course, there's no regulation in this championship saying you can't use DRS. And so, unlike in DTM, where it was a limited number of uses per race, he can use it wherever and however many times he pleases during this race. And in the dry, it was a 15km/h advantage he was gaining down the Mistral. I'm sure he's going to have to be a bit more tentative on the button in these conditions. There is Pierre Aru, the Wile E. Coyote liveried Herrera Racing Audi, lining up at the rear of the field. Of course, championship leader in UCS 4 as it stands by 34 points, 24 points, I should say, to Francois Denis. So his saving grace really is that Francois Denis is actually the next car up the road in his class. So clock ticking down. Xavier Nauf trying to get some temperature into the Goodyear rubber. Xavier Nauf, as we mentioned, doing the GT Endurance race with Gregory Servet, Haas Racing team represented for the first time on the Ultimate Cup grid. The Sandrine Haas and Chris de Donker run outfit. And Chris de Donker is here this weekend, former engineer and rally driver. Is Chris, the team built from Sandrine Haas's desire to race in the VW Fun Cup 25-hour at Spa, and of course now has gone on to compete in many GT3 series and races, largely in the Creventic outfit, but both Xavier and Gregory doing preparations for their second attempt at the Golf 12-hour at the end of this year. But the safety car lights are off, and Hugo Chevalier has now put his foot to the floor, and green flags are now flying around Circuit Paul Ricard, but Xavier Nauf hasn't even made it to the final corner, nor has Franck Desertou, before they've both gone for a spin at the penultimate corner. And I tell you what as well, the I think it was the Semler-Joux car, or maybe Carl van der Westen, was very close to nearly doing the same thing as well. So yellow flags are back out in the final sector, but that's of no concern to Hugo Chevalier, who has unleashed the 500 brake horsepower 4-litre V8. So it's now Carl van der Westen who's in second position overall, and Lorenzo Monteiro in third. Seb Lejeune now leads in Porsche, sorry, is now second in Porsche Cup, I should say, with the dramas at the final corner, and so he's now up into fourth position overall, and Alexis Bertet, Olivier Morahan, Eric Mouet, Lionel Rigaud, Julien Gouja and Georges Caban in the top 10, and Carl van der Westen is sticking with the back of that DTM car. It was 1.2 seconds the gap at the timing line, but van der Westen was about half a second quicker in the first sector, so really incredible stuff from the young Frenchman, former Roscar champion. Oh, that was someone going very, very wide there, and it might have been Seb Lejeune. It looked like the fourth place car going very wide onto the Mistral. And there you can see the gap that the DTM car has been able to pull with the extra power compared to the Porsche. So heading up towards Scene Corner for the first time at full racing speed. I'm sure this is going to be a little harem-scarum. See a spit of flame out the side of the Mercedes as well. Absolutely stunning machine that is. I didn't actually look to see if he was using the DRS on the way into the Mistral. Well, we'll get another look at it, I'm sure. Maybe he's just playing it safe for this one. Of course, Eric Debard, qualifying that car in Q2, managed to spin it at Virage Dupont, and didn't quite manage to secure pole position, but does have a front row start for race 2 later on today. So completing the first lap under green flag conditions, and Chevalier. Oh, what a noise. So it's 2:25.3 for Chevalier, but Lorenzo Monteiro has pulled his Ferrari 488 Challenge into the pit lane. I wonder why that might be. There was a very late turbo change on that car in qualifying yesterday, and I do hope there aren't some mechanical woes to consider there for that car. That, of course, Lyle Schofield, the UCS3 Championship leader, will be driving later on. So it seems to have just come straight in and straight out. Didn't seem like anywhere near enough time for him to be stationary for any amount of time. It's almost like he's done the drive-through that silver class drivers are supposed to do, but as far as I'm aware, he's not a silver class driver. So, okay, interesting one to pick up on a little bit later. Bit of squabbling further down that. There is Lorenzo Monteiro. Kraft Racing pulling over to the side of the road. Dominic Guillaumeau has stopped in pit lane by the looks of it. Kraft Racing very busy this weekend, also running cars in the Ultimate Formula Cup, but not a great start to their day. So Seb Lejeune they're in third position now, with Monteiro pulling into pit lane. Seb Lejeune will be out in GT Endurance as well, with 2 cars for his eponymous team. See Carl van der Westen there now, rather being dropped by Chevalier. So you can see Guillaumeau car being worked on in pit lane, but let's just take a look at this incredible machine in the hands of Hugo Chevalier. Didn't look like he was using DRS down the front straight. It's now 5 seconds the advantage over Carl van der Westen. Quite a squabble going on between sort of around 9th, 10th backwards. Of course, Xavier Nauf on the recovery. So the Belgian is currently in 10th position. See, this is Olivier Morahan in 5th position. Oh, problems for Carla de Bard, though, at what looks to be the penultimate corner. Carla only in her second outing in the Porsche Cup car, and for her first race without traction control and ABS, she couldn't have been met with worse conditions, really. So that's yeah, a shame to see, as Xavier Nauf on the recovery here, passing the CMR Ginetta GTX of Eric Mouet. And so that should be Xavier Nauf up into 6th position, I'd have thought, or maybe to 7th, as it looks like Lionel Rigaud has also made his way past the Ginetta as well, as Carla de Bard gets on her way. So Xavier Nauf now with the Porsche Cup car of Lionel Rigaud directly in front of him from the GP Racing team, another outfit that will be represented in GT Endurance tomorrow for the 6th hour. So the V10 Audi makes its way past the Flat 6 Porsche, and now it's Olivier Morahan's new Mercedes GT3 car directly in front of him, switching over from Corvette machinery, and it looks like he's going to have him straight away on the exit of the Mistral chicane and towards Scene Corner. And there on the inside, and yep, Morahan is demoted to 6th position. So next car up the road for Xavier Nauf is Alexis Bertet, the UCS2 class leader in the Lamborghini Super Trofeo, some 12 seconds up the road. That was Pierre Aru making progress in UCS4. He's made his way past Adrian Stern. Well, and now Lionel Rigaud fancies getting past Olivier Morahan as well, and in that tight and twisty final sector where the Porsche handles incredibly well. That was Chevalier doing his silver class stop and go penalty. So he's just gone through the pit lane, stationary for 1 second, and then moved on his way again. It looks like he's come out behind Seb Lejeune. So it is now Carl van der Westen leading, Seb Lejeune second, the 2 Porsche Cup front runners, and then Hugo Chevalier, and with 9 minutes left on the clock to try and get back up to the front of the field for Chevalier, but of course not scoring points, remember. So as it stands, it would be, even if Chevalier were to take the overall win as such, it would be Carl van der Westen getting the 16 points for the win, and already Chevalier on the inside. And in fact, Seb Lejeune was being rather helpful there in indicating which side Chevalier should go on, and just saying, yep, I'm going to leave the door open on the left-hand side, you just drive through it, mate. So that's the gap. Carl van der Westen just going through the picture, and there is Hugo Chevalier. Some 16 seconds or so between the 2 cars. But of course the DTM car lapping significantly faster than the GT3 counterparts and the Cup category counterparts. Got Mercedes, Lamborghini, Ferrari and Ginetta all in a line here, and all in different classes of cars as well. So it's UCS1 just been passed by the UCS2 class Super Trofeo. So that was Georges Caban, who's already passed Eric Mouet in that battle, and then Lorenzo Monteiro. So it's UCS1, UCS2, UCS3, all being represented in that particular scrap. Xavier Nauf setting about Alexis Bertet there, and has not brought the gap down, in fact, actually lapping slower than the UCS2 class leader. So I think Xavier Nauf might have reached his limit there in terms of positions he can gain in the remaining 7 minutes or so. one nice thing about having the V10s out there is you can hear them from a mile away. Car 73, which is the Patrick Michelier Ferrari 488 Challenge Evo prepared by CMR, has spun and rejoined at turn 10, so that scene corner, that would have been quite a scary off, I'd have thought, for Michelier. Michelier, a regular podium contender in the UCS3 category. Lorenzo Monteiro still leading in that category. Looks like Frederic Lacour came into pit lane as well, so this would be great for Monteiro to get himself back up to second position in the UCS3 category and make it a 1-2 for the SR&R outfit in that category, because of course Monteiro and Schofield had a bit of a shocker in Manicourt, where Schofield was hit up the backside during race 1. It did so much damage to the car that it rather impacted the rest of their weekend. They weren't able to get the maximum performance despite the best efforts of the Italian squad to have the car fixed. Those problems as a result of the incident just kept rearing their ugly heads. But no such dramas this weekend so far, and Lyle Schofield very much on course to become champion in that category, in that car that he shares with Lorenzo Monteiro, who has been an overall race winner. In fact, they both have won overall at times in this race, in this season. Franck Desert there in the Renault RS01, trying to make a bit of forward progress after his spin on the restarts. See where he has got himself up to at this point. Up to 10th position overall. So Alexis Bertet there, the CMR prepared Lamborghini Super Trofeo, his first appearance in the championship since Portimao. He took 2 wins. But former teammate to Patrick Michelier in the GT2 European Series. So he's just putting a lap on Andre Safiratos's GT4 Cayman. And then here, Georges Caban in the sister CMR Super Trofeo, coming up against Lorenzo Monteiro for 7th position overall. So both of these cars with an extraordinary amount of power. But Lorenzo Monteiro absolutely blasting past the Super Trofeo. It's not many things you'll see that are quicker in a straight line than a Super Trofeo car. But certainly in these conditions, the Ferrari was looking very, very strong. So we saw the Seb Lejeune Racing team there just watching on. And now on the back of Caban is Franck Desertot. We had a Renault RS01 out in Mugello, but different outfit for this weekend. It's the AB Sport Auto run car, and of course Franck Desertot, the 60-year-old Frenchman, racing in the likes of Le Mans Cup and Le Mans Series and the World Endurance Championship in the GTE days, all with AF Corsa. Looks like he's now making a move on the Super Trofeo of Georges Caban for 9th position, or 8th I should say in fact. So time on screen updates. So 3 minutes left on the clock, and it's still 13 seconds between Hugo Chevalier and Carl van der Westen, and so it looks like the 2B Autosport driver might just bring this one home. Of course, conditions not really allowing that car to be fully unleashed. Although, as I say that, Chevalier goes 4 seconds faster and brings the gap down to 8.9. But we will now be on the penultimate lap of the race. Oh, that's going to be very tight indeed. That's going to be very, very tight. 4 seconds a lap and 9 seconds the advantage. So Carl van der Westen should have some company quite soon. But meanwhile, battles elsewhere continues. There is the race leader. And you could hear the DTM car spooling up the rear Goodyears in the traction zone through the hotel chicane, but that is the lead gap. And it was 1 second taken out of Van der Westen in the first sector of the lap, and of course Van der Westen is now coming up on quite a bit of traffic. The likes of Pierre Aru, Raul Marchisio, Adrian Stern, who are just up the road. So that's passing Pierre Aru, Raul Marchisio in the Ligier, who's next up. Raul Marchisio, whoa, that was a big moment there for Carl van der Westen through Scene Corner. If he wasn't awake and alert before the start of this race, he certainly is now. Such a tight line through Le Bousset. Normally you see them going way, way well out to the left-hand side in the middle of that long, long right-hander. But, of course, in these conditions, you don't tend to use the traditional racing line. And you see Van der Westen's using anything but the traditional racing line at the moment. So that's the lead gap. We will be starting the final lap of the race. And it was another second taken out of Van der Westen. So that's 2 seconds on this lap, so the gap should be down to about 7 seconds or so, but well, we are now on the final lap of the race, 30 seconds or so left on the clock as Carl van der Westen starts the final lap of the race. Already flashing Raul Marchisio in the Ligier. And on the inside of the first corner, rounds up the Italian, but 5 seconds the advantage as Chevalier took 2 seconds out of Van der Westen on the in the final sector, but it's still hovering around 4 seconds a lap that he's taking out of him, and it's 5 seconds at the start of the final lap. So this is going to be very nip and tuck. Of course, regardless, Van der Westen will take the win points because the Chevalier car is a guest entered car and not adhering to any of the technical regulations of the classes available. There will be a class restructuring, but won't be any DTM cars allowed in there. And you can see Chevalier not using the DRS on that car. So Van der Westen puts a lap on Carla de Bard. Of course, she'll be hoping for a slightly cleaner race later on today. So Franck Desertou and Lionel Rigaud squabbling over 6th position, and Desertou just made a move on Lorenzo Monteiro for 7th position. So Rigaud there, well, a little defensive, but this is Carl van der Westen. See, right inside the cockpit in these conditions. And it was another 2.2 seconds that Chevalier has taken out of Van der Westen on this lap alone. But the DTM car is not in sight. Right, well, just a flash of the bright orange ex-Lucas Sauer car in the background there, but it will be Carl van der Westen who brings it home. Oh, so long as he doesn't have too many more moments like that, but only one corner remains for the Roscar Series champion, second in the Porsche Cup category so far this year. And race 1 of Ultimate GT Sprint Cup in Paul Ricard is won by Carl van der Westen and the 2B Autosports crew. Second position will be Hugo Chevalier after bringing the gap down to 2.6 seconds in the end after his mandatory stop and go penalty. Seb Lejoux in 3rd position should come across the line. And of course, because Carl is also a silver class driver, he didn't take his penalty in the race. And so on countback, the win has been given to Chevalier by 17 seconds. But Van der Westen still getting 2nd position and the wins points ahead of Seb Lejoux. And Alexis Bertet in 4th position with the UCS2 win as well for the CMR team. UCS Light, meanwhile, has been won by Nathan Posmentier in the 72 drive-in Ligier, the former midget racer, ahead of Raul Marchisio in the sister Ligier and Andre Sefiratos. And in fact, here is Nathan Posmentier. His class rivals have already crossed the timing line. That's how we know he's won it, but still trying to get ahead of Paul Benezech for 12th position, the previous generation Porsche Cup car, but Benezech will just beat Posmentier to the line. And so it is just Francois Denis left to cross the timing line and meet the checkered flag, but it is Hugo Chevalier, Carl van der Westen and Seb Lejeune, the top three. Alexis Bertet with the UCS2 victory. UCS1 victory going to Xavier Nauf ahead of Franck Desertou. Lorenzo Monteiro with the UCS3 win. That should put him back up to second position in his category. Lionel Rigaud completing the Porsche Cup podium for the GP Racing team. UCS2 podium, Georges Caban and Eric Mouet, with Olivier Morahan completing the UCS1 podium. And UCS4 won by Julien Gujat for speed car, ahead of Francois Denis and Adrian Stern. So Pierre Aru ended up dropping down again somewhere in that race. So that's going to shake things up a little bit in the UCS4 Championship. But of course, many of those drivers are running solo in UCS4, so they will get another opportunity. We are one car down in UCS4 actually, because we're supposed to be on for the BMW M4 of Andre and Ricardo van der Ende, and the gearbox blow up. And so they won't be joining us, but who is joining us now in Parc Fermé is Carl van der Westen. And Seb Lejeune joining him in Parc Fermé as well. And so who should be joining him is Alexis Bertet. As the third classified finisher, so to speak, non-guest finisher. So there we can see a very happy Carl van der Westen there. Yeah, penny for his thoughts after a race like that. Well, hopefully we'll get them. So cars are still making their way back into pit lane. Just goes to show how far ahead these guys were compared to the rest of the field. Still 3 more races to come in Ultimate GT Sprint Cup. 2 of them today as well at 12:35 and 4:45 local time respectively. But for now, let's head down to Claire Cottingham, who's with Carl.
Yes, I am indeed, alongside Carl. Congratulations, you're looking very chilled, and you know, I feel like you should have been hot and sweaty out there. You look incredibly chilled.
No, it's but in those conditions you can't push too hard, or you go off track, because it's not wet, it's not dry, it's in between. That's the worst. So I keep it cool in the car. My brakes are longer and everything, so it's to drive like relaxed.
Relaxed, exactly. As relaxed as you can be out there. There were a couple of moments for you. You could see just at the end as well, coming around the final few corners. It was tricky conditions.
Yeah, but it was drying, so at the beginning it was okay, and as the race went on, it got drier and slippier, so at the end it was surviving here again.
Cars are still coming past us now. That just shows how much of a lead you had.
I don't know. Actually, I don't know.
It was quite a lot.
The team didn't tell me, so I don't know.
Is that not something you should be told?
No.
Just that you're in the lead, that's enough.
They told me you're first in the cup class, but they didn't tell me by how much.
Is it nice to be back as well? Because we didn't see you last time out, you were rallying.
Yeah, it feels good to be there, to be back.
Where were you rallying exactly?
Corsica.
How did you do?
Pretty well. We finished 11th on 200 cars and 3rd in class, so it was good.
Pretty impressive. Well done, congratulations. Go and enjoy. Hopefully for the next races it should be a bit drier.
I hope so.
Okay, we have a qualifying coming up very shortly. Thank you so much, Carl. Qualifying coming up very shortly of the Endurance prototype. Obviously, we've got that happening today, and then we've got the 6 hours of the Endurance happening tomorrow. So make sure you stick with us right here on this YouTube channel.
We got it.